must-have floral fragrances that are romantic and delicate. So, floral fragrances are one of the most popular categories of fragrances on the entire market. But I've narrowed it down to a few that I think do it best. And I'm going to start with a classic, maybe the most classic floral fragrance, which is Red Door from Elizabeth Arden. Pretty much everyone has heard about this, everyone knows about it. Very, very popular, especially in the 90s when it was released. Less so now, but I think it's a pretty classic, timeless option. So, Red Door has so many floral notes that I cannot list them all, or I'll be here forever. But pretty much any floral note you think of, it will be in Red Door. It also has a honey note, which is a nice little bonus if you like that additional sweetness. Overall, I always say Red Door is a really nice balance between those natural floral notes and also a little bit of powderiness. It's definitely on the more powdery side, very feminine in a kind of like classic way. Now, even though it is full of floral notes, it is not super sweet like some more modern floral fragrances are. It's more of a natural sweetness from those floral notes, which is nice. So it's not super crazy or super intense. Kind of just like you're walking through like a flowering garden, you know? More of a natural kind of smell. Just a touch on the sweeter side, obviously, especially with that honey note. But good thing about it, it has really good longevity, considering that it is a floral scent, and generally those are pretty light. I would say longevity is about 6 hours, maybe even 7 hours, which is really good for a floral fragrance. It really sticks around more than you would expect. Same with the projection, it's much stronger than you would expect. People will definitely notice this on you, and you don't need to put on too much. And as a bonus, because it's a little bit of an older fragrance, it is more affordable than more modern fragrances. So, I mean, a lot of the bottles are about $40 or even less, so definitely a steal if you want to get a full bottle of a nice smelling fragrance. So, besides Red Door, which is a nice kind of relatively delicate floral fragrance, another pretty good option, which I would say is pretty similar, is Eternity from Calvin Klein. This is, again, similar in that it has many very natural floral notes, just in general, and quite a lot of them. Now, it's a little bit sweeter than Red Door, and that's not a bad thing. It's just kind of depending on your preference, what you would prefer. If you want something sweeter, then of course you can go for Eternity. If you want something a little less sweet and more natural, go for Red Door. But again, it's up to your preference. Eternity is also more of a classic scent. I think it came out in the 80s, I believe. So not super modern, but either way, still a good fragrance. Again, surprisingly strong for being a floral fragrance. Really good projection, and that sort of thing. Now, it isn't good for everyone. I would recommend getting a sample of Eternity before you get the full bottle, because, at least according to the reviews I've read, it just doesn't react well on some people, on some people's skin. So, again, don't blind buy it, you know, if you're worried about that. But if you are one of the people who, you know, it smells good on them, you should be good to go. Now, besides Eternity and Red Door, another one which I quite enjoy is Fleur de Depo, which is a very natural scent, a very more subtle scent, especially compared to like Red Door. Very high quality, so lots of florals, and also some kind of green notes, some more, there's a carrot note, so I guess vegetative notes, but it's very more subtle, which I like, but also surprisingly long lasting, probably about 5 to 6 hours, I would say, for longevity. Projection, not so great, mainly because it's a little bit more of an intimate fragrance, but despite that, again, it smells really nice. This is also one of the ones where I would recommend getting a sample first before getting the full bottle, especially because the full bottle is pretty expensive. Get a sample first, see how you like it, and you know, see if it's worth the full bottle or not. But I quite like it. It's one of those more niche things that I enjoy wearing from time to time, especially in the spring or summer. It's also unique because of its kind of combination of notes, and because the fact that it's kind of off the beaten path, so not too many people really wear it that often. So you'll be able to stand out from the crowd pretty easily. Now, if you don't care about how oversaturated a fragrance is, then I will say a pretty good one is Versace Bright Crystal. This obviously almost everyone knows about it. Supremely popular fragrance, floral fragrance. It's also very affordable, which is a bonus. I think it's about maybe $50. So this is, I mean, it has some fruit notes, there's some pomegranate in it, there's some yuzu, some ice notes in it, and then also quite a few florals. It is a relatively simple fragrance, but still very effective. So, again, it's one of those more casual types of fragrances. Good for going to get the groceries, going to work, going to school, wherever you're going. Versace Bright Crystal will probably, pull through for you. Now, it's not so much of a formal occasion type of fragrance, definitely. More on the casual side. And longevity, not great. About 4 hours, maybe 5. But if you're looking for just generally a likable fragrance, then Versace Bright Crystal will do that job, because it is, it always has 5 stars, pretty honest reviews. It's just an agreeable, friendly fragrance. Now, if you want something that's not quite as oversaturated as a Versace Bright Crystal, then I would say one of my favorites actually is Miss Dior. Now, there's quite a few different versions of Miss Dior. New versions come out every so often. I believe it was the 2021 version that I really enjoyed, or Blooming Bouquet. That's a good one. Pretty much any version of Miss Dior is going to be good. Miss Dior is primarily a floral fragrance. I mean, it's just all florals, kind of in the style of Red Door. They actually smell a little bit similar, actually. I will say Miss Dior has more of an obviously high quality smell to it. It's a little bit fresher, very natural smelling, with that little bit of sweetness thrown in there. Very feminine, more of a traditional type of feminine fragrance. But in general, very nice to wear, and it lasts quite a long time actually. I would say 7 hours for most people, which is unusual for that type of fragrance. But Miss Dior definitely all around is a great floral fragrance. Very classy as well. But that is pretty much my list of floral fragrances. So if you found this video helpful, of course, you can leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.